How are you? Hope you're all looking good today. Today we are going to answer a question from 2014 Junior WAEC Computer Science questions. They gave 4 questions to answer to. And when I saw this question, I was amazed. I was surprised. I said, so very cheap and simple. So I decided to give it to JSS1 to try in our WhatsApp group. But today I want to treat them and post for JSS3. The first question says, question A, first question A say, what is computer? It looks so simple, but I will tell you the importance of them asking such question. Question B said, list the 2 main components of a computer. Question 2, give the examples of each of the following devices. A, input devices. B, output devices. C, main memory. Question 3 says, name the 5 sections of the keyboard and give examples of keys found in each. Question 4, explain the following. A, central processing unit. B, control unit. C, arithmetic and logic unit. And D, main memory. Now, let's approach the question 1. Question number 1. What is computer? And before we go answer this question, I want you to have in mind that there are various means of defining computer. Some students will say computer is an electronic device that accepts data, process data, and bring them as output information. Good and fine. That is not holistic. If I am to score you, or the examiner will look at that definition and give you, if it is 5 marks, it will give you 2.5. Because the definition is not holistic. So, what the WAEC need is an overview definition of a computer, not the elementary one which I just defined. So, I would like you to look at it this way. Then you want to answer such question, you say, computer is an electronic and electromechanical device that accepts, process, store data and store data as well as output the result by following a set of instructions called program. Full stop. So when you look at this definition, is an overview of a computer. It's an overview of a computer. So it explains everything that you could see in computer. It will help you to say, yes, truly, this is exactly what computer is. Now, if you look at the definition, I want us to look at the key point in the definition. Computer is an electronic and mechanical device. What is electronic? Means that the device, this which is computer, uses electronic, and it has electrical and mechanical parts. That is why it's also seen here as electromechanical device. And a device is a component that aids other device or that can assist other device to function well, that accepts, process, store data as well as output the result by following a set of instruction called program. It's unlike the definition I gave as computer as an electronic device that accept data, process data, and retrieve them as output information, is not as detailed as this. So if examiner want to score you and you give such definition, we give you 2/5 or 2.5/5. Why this? You have a full complete marks, 5 marks. So if now look this one, okay, this is an example of what we are seeing here. Input, processing, let me bring it down. Input, processing, output. Here you have storage. Here you have something like communication. Here is information. Here input is what? What did you input? Data. So when you input data, it processes and stores. Communication is taking place already. In the process of processing it, you store it and give them out as what? Output. And what helps to do that? What helps to do that is the structure, set of instruction called what? Program. What is set of instruction is set of instruction called program. Program is called what? Software. Without software, the hardware you just mentioned above that process, store, and retrieve data as output will not function. It's as good as nothing. But with the help of instruction or program, which is software, help the computer to function. It's just like a human being. When you have a complete body and blood, and without breathing in you, you cannot function. So the program here is the software that helps the hardware to function. So that one leads us to the big question. List the 2 main components of the computer. When I say 2 main components, now when you look at the definition, you can be able to extract the main component. When I say main component, means the major parts that makes up the computer and make it function. And what is the functionality of the computer? Is to accept, store, process, and bring it out as a result. So through the help of a program, which is software. Now you look at the definition, you can bring out the 2 main components, which are question 2, 1B. 1B now, the 2 main components is computer hardware. 1. Computer hardware. 2. Computer software. These are the 2 main components of computer. Because when you look at the definition, you see the hardware, which is electronic and electromechanical device. You see those parts in computer. Then, when you still look at the computer, you see a program, instruction called program, a set of instruction called program, which is the computer software. So the 2 main components now are computer hardware and computer software. Now, computer hardware is comprised of 2 types of hardware. We have the system units and the peripheral. The system unit and the peripheral make up what? The computer hardware. The computer hardware is the part you can feel, touch, just like this one. This is the system unit, this is keyboard, this is mouse, and this is monitor. Right? I brought those three objects so that when you see them, you can be able to picture it. People call this thing CPU. It's not CPU. It's called what? System unit. Why this one is monitor and this one is called what? Mouse. And the one that looks like television screen is called what? Monitor. Or you call it what? Visual display unit. VDU. Visual display unit. So that is about the. Then you look at this computer software. Computer software are the program or instruction in the definition you see. A set of instruction or program, which is software, that help the computer to function. Because the hardware cannot work without the software. That is why it's called a system. At times you see, you carry your laptop, you say, oh, my system. And what makes it a system is a combination of hardware and software that make it function well. That is why at times I tell you that a system is a whole that made up of many parts. Each part depends and interrelated and interwoven. So without the hardware, the software cannot function, and without the software, the hardware cannot function. So the software are the one we see with our eye, we cannot touch, we cannot feel them. Those are the programs inside the computer. Now, the computer software is made up of application. System is made up of system software and application software. These are the two main parts of this computer software. So you see that you have fully answered question number 1. So you have your full marks. If question number 1 takes 10 marks, you have your full marks. Question number 1A and B. But by the time you define computer as an electronic device that accepts data, process data, and bring it out as output information, they will give you half mark because you did not explain what make those functions that process it, what make them function. There is nothing like software in what you are defining. And this diagram gives an overview of what you define, how it functions. The data come in as input and the processor and communication is taking place and bring it out as output, which is information because it has already been processed. So that answers question number 1. Then question number 2, give the examples of each of the following devices. Now, A of it is input device, B is output device, C is main memory. And you are asked to answer 2 questions only. Question 2, examples of the following devices. A, input device. Now, the question you ask yourself, what is input? For example, if you have a bucket of water, and when you are pouring something inside, whatever you are pouring inside is you are inputting something, right? If it is water, it's a grain of rice, whatever, you are inputting inside. So, it is the same thing applicable to computer system. What are the examples of input? What are those things you use to input data? I believe you know data. Data are raw facts that has not been processed. Now, if you want to input it for it to be processed, what did you do? You use a device. As I said, device is a component that can aid other components to function. Now, which device you use to input a data is keyboard. Look at it here, keyboard. This is keyboard. And this keyboard has different keys. And when you are keying in data, you are what? Inputting data. That is why it's called what? Input device. So you've answered your question. Another input device is what? The mouse. Now, in the monitor, you will see a cursor blinking like this. Depends on how you program it. It will just be coming out and go in. And when you want to move that cursor, you use the mouse. If you move the mouse right side, the cursor will go the right direction. If you move the mouse left side, the cursor will go the right. So what you use to move the mouse, it moves the cursor is the mouse. So mouse is then now seen as input because when you move that cursor to the left and when you input through your keyboard a data, then what you are typing will start from where you place the cursor. So it's seen as what? Input. So they say gives example of the following. You can give more than one, more than two. For example, you now say keyboard. You have a and mouse. You can still add a system unit or joystick. Many of them, there are very many. But the question says example, you just give two. Then, in order not to waste your time, the B part said out what? Put. Output devices. So what you are taking out, you are outputting it, right? So you use that common sense to know that what you give in and you see it as output, just like in definitions cases, as well as output, the result. Now you have already keyed in some data, and that data has been processed to give you a meaningful word as information, and you are now seeing it through a screen, visual display unit, which is the monitor. And what do you now call the monitor? The monitor could be seen as what? Output device. So monitor is, look at the monitor here. It's like television. So whatever you key in through the keyboard, the system unit will process it because there is inside the system unit you have a central processing unit. We process it and it come out as what? Output. You'll be able to see what you are keying in after it's being processed on the monitor. And when you are now seeing it on the monitor, you know that monitor is now what? Called what? Output. Monitor. Which other thing will you now use? Because they say examples, not one. They look at speaker, loudspeaker. Like this system has a speaker here. This is where the speaker is fixed. If I open it to see the part inside, you see this is where the speaker is. And in this speaker, you can also have external speaker. The speaker, when one is talking with microphone is seen as what? Input. You are inputting what? Your voice. As you are inputting your voice, and the speaker helps you to bring out the voice. So speaker is also called what? Output. So you write speaker. So you are done with the output. Now the last one, C, is called what? Main. C is called what? Main memory. Now the main memory is comprised of primary, is like storage, just you see here. Is the storage. You know, when you look at the overview definition of the computer, you see storage. That is where the memory is. So you have the primary memory and you have the secondary memory. So the primary memory, these are the immediate one that is stored on itself. When you have here you have the RAM and what? ROM. The primary memory is the one that, or you can say primary and secondary memory. Primary memory is the one that you, when you are typing, you want to store, or the computer store it itself, and if the light go off, it's volatile. That is, once the light go off, it's called what? ROM. Read only memory. Read only memory is called ROM. Why this one is called read access what? Memory. So the primary memory is the one that in within, which you call, for example, is called what? Hard disk on the system. Hard disk. While the secondary memories are the one flash drive, the one that is peripheral. So I didn't explain this peripheral system in it. The peripheral, the one you can detach and keep it, right? As seen as what? Flash drive. So you have given an example of memory. I only say that because of, so that I was supposed to just write RAM and ROM, or primary and secondary, which is hard disk, the one that you can store in it. So that answer question 2. That gives us an answer on question 2.